Hello, my most awesome artists. Today we are going to draw geodes, which, if you remember, are rocks that have these special formations in them, crystal formations. They're very beautiful, so we are going to draw some. If you want, you can do a sketch first, but I'm going to do mine right onto my final copy. So look at this paper, see the shapes of the geodes, and draw, let's say, 2 big ones, and then whatever else I can fit. They might be going off the paper, but that is perfectly fine. So look at the shapes. It doesn't have to be perfect. They're almost like a circular shape. But you can make them bumpy-ish so that it looks more natural. And if you don't like how it looks, erase. Make sure you're drawing lightly. My geodes are now drawn on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use watercolor paint and salts to paint them. Now you can look at these pictures. If you notice, the geodes usually have a dark center. Some of them have more than one darker rings going around it, and it's always darker on the outside too. So when you're painting, remember that. Geodes are mainly one color, but if you look here, not all of them are. So it's up to you with what you want to stick with. Now this didn't print out the best, so some of these colors aren't quite accurate. But you can see most of them have one color that they go with. So I'm going to try to do that with mine, but if you want to mix it up, that's okay. So we're going to use watercolor paints. Remember, watercolor paints are friends with water. So you want to make sure that you are using the water by dipping it into the paint, rubbing it gently. So I'm going to paint the inner part with this light violet. If you want it to be a darker of a color, put some more violet over top of it. Or what you could use is you could mix it with another violet. So I'm rubbing this brush lightly in there, cleaning it in between. So maybe I want to mix this darker color violet around the edges to make it a little darker. Notice I'm not mixing it in my paint tray. I'm only mixing it on the paper. Now, what you're going to do is, one, you need to make sure that this is staying wet while you're painting with it. And then what you're going to do is you are going to add some salt. So sprinkle some salt on there. If it's not wet and it's drying like mine is, the salt isn't going to work. So I'm just going to have the salt open and ready. And I'm going to finish painting this really quick, and then I'm going to add some water on top of it. If you get out of your lines a little, that is perfectly fine, because we are going to cut these out then. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take a pinch full of salt and just sprinkle it on your geode. And what that's going to do is this salt is going to start absorbing some of the water and the watercolor into it, so that when we're done next week and we brush off the salt, it will leave a really cool starburst effect. So I'm going to go ahead and finish painting all my geodes in. I have my geodes painted how I want them to be painted now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glitter glue and I'm going to outline the edges of my geodes with the glue. This is an optional step. You could also, if we don't want to do this, take some gold paint or silver paint and paint the gold and silver around the edges, which is what I think I might change up and do, because I don't know if I quite like that glitter glue, but that's up to you. I do have different colors that you can use. So once you're done with this, boys and girls, put this on the drying rack.